Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of TwstNotes, where I summarize the latest story update in JP. So this is only the first part of Chapter 11 because for some reason Twist is updating Chapter 11 in 2 parts. The next part will be out next week. No, I have no idea why they decided to do this, it beats me. Last video I complained about this book feeling so long, and honestly, this is not helping. With that complaint out of my system, as if I don't complain enough already, let's talk about Book 7, chapters 192 to 211. So we start off with the gang arriving in Jack's dream. Azul's not doing so hot and faints while standing up. New low for him. After they get him all settled and him being okay and everything, he says he doesn't like the dream traveling and it'd be better to be unconscious before doing it, which, oof. They notice that it's around Halloween from the foliage on Night Raven College's campus. The gang decides to switch back into their school uniforms. Silver doesn't use the dream form change, and Sebek decides this is the perfect moment to pick a fight with Silver about not using the tool. Silver says he's relied on the dream form change, but it's not like he can't change clothes with magic anyways. He says it's convenient when he's overslept. Azul's confused about the dream form change, so Sebek and Ordo demonstrate. Azul is weirdly weirded out by it, and Idia rightfully takes offense. I cannot believe I'm siding with Idia for once in my life. But honestly, I'm just like, it's just a thing. Like, I don't get why Azul is being a hater about it. I'm just like, what? Anyways, Idia defends it and he's all like, it's fun and it makes it exciting for the audience. And when Azul is like, you're the only one in that audience, Idia is like, nuh-uh. The geeks on the stick staff are watching over 24/7 and I know they like it. Weak argument, but honestly, again, like, I'm with Idia on this one. I don't know why Azul is being weird about it. Azul was pretty quickly able to grasp the situation with the dream and everything, and Grim is like, oh yeah, Jamil said you were terrible but smart. Sebek is like, Grim, stop misleading Azul. Jamil said Azul was terrible, but he's a houseborn so he'll be a valuable asset. Ordo is like, that is not the save you think it is. Idia starts bullying Azul about his jock era, and Azul is completely mortified. He is just completely embarrassed. Not for the questionable bullying, but because he was a jock and all of that, you know, like shouting your, like, finishing move and all that, he's totally just embarrassed. Ordo was like, well, yeah, some parts of your dream were messed up, but it's a typical high schooler's dream, right, guys? We have no issues. And it's like, who's we? We is apparently Silver, though, who tries to console Azul. He doesn't take it well, though, saying it feels icky coming from a star, like quotation marks. You can't see it, but I'm doing quotation marks. Silver's confused about the comment, and Azul says, like, a clip of Silver competing at a horse competition got posted in Magicam, and everyone was talking about how princely it was. Silver completely misunderstands and thinks the prince comments were about his horse. Oh god. Oh god, I love Silver. Anyway, so he thinks... oh god. I wish I was making that up, but he's literally just like, he thinks that the comments are about his horse, Samson. And he's like, oh, well, Samson is a white horse, he is very princely. And then Sebek... God. I did not laugh this hard while reading this section, but honestly, reading this out loud and it's like sinking in, I'm like, oh yeah, Anyway, Sebek, oh, okay, we can get through this. We can get through this. Sebek then says his horse Tempest should also be considered a prince among horses, or rather the prince of horses. And Azul's like, oh my god, you guys are so dumb. The prince comments were about Silver, not the horse. Anyway, so while that is going on, Idia starts being jelly about people's enthusiasm for sports and not board game competitions, and Ordo asks Idia to stop being a hater. Jack runs past them, talking about being late for practice. The others follow, and at first they think it's track stuff, but it turns out it's a spell drive practice. The inter-dorm tournament is coming up, and Jack is on Savannah Claw's team. As per usual with these streams, there's loads of Darkness NPCs. There's Darkness masquerading as Leona and Ruggie. The fake Leona gives a rousing pep talk about teamwork and how they'll work hard to beat Malleus and Insomnia, and through the magic of teamwork, anything is possible. Okay, kind of that last part, but like not really, but he does stress unity and stuff. The others are horrified and are like, he would not fucking say that. Which, I mean, they're right. I don't know, the game plays it as a whole, like, comedy of like, Leona, that's not our Leona, stop it, it's scary. And I'm just like, okay, to be fair to them, though, like, you had the horse thing, and You can't top that. That is comedy gold. But this, they try to play it off as a funny thing, and I was just like, okay. Noted. Anyway, Sebek is still mad about the Magic tournament stuff, and Azul acts like he wasn't a part of them, hemming and hawing like, oh dear heavens, it was such a shock to find out about Leona's plan. No one buys it, and Grim literally looks at him like, oh, this bitch. But Azul does do that. The gang tries to figure out how to wake Jack up. They're worried about Jack being in too deep, not to mention the darkness security around him. And on top of that, because this Leona is clearly Jack's ideal version of him, he might be believing too hard in the fake Leona, which will make him more powerful. They wonder if Azul could use Leona's and Riddle's since he had them in his dream. However, now that Azul has woken up, logic overpowers any dream stuff. Basically, logic kicks in, and Sebek explains it through his unique Maho. It's a dream, so he should be able to do his living bolt perfectly, but reality kicks in and he just can't do it, so that's not an option. Idia, however, gets a plan, and the gang quickly puts it into motion. They approach the Savannah Claw team, saying they're Ramshackle's Magic team, and want to have a joint practice. Ruggie makes fun of them, but after Azul puts on some fake tears about wanting to become better athletes, Leona agrees to it. The squad does a cute little huddle to hype themselves up, and the game begins. Lots of sports stuff happens that honestly I don't really care about. Idia, who's there as a hologram, and you are just kind of there. Azul is doing really badly with the game, so Silver calls a timeout so he can get a break. Idia makes fun of Azul again for the jock stuff, and yet again, I'm on Idia's side. He's like, why do you suck this much at Spell Drive? Don't you have your Kraken shot to save the game? The timeout ends and the game resumes. Leona and Sebek go head-to-head. Sebi unfortunately gets his shit wrecked while trying to intercept the disc Leona's controlling, and it goes out of bounds. Jack comments about Sebek's courage for going against Leona and not backing down. Leona helps Sebek up and pats him on the back, talking about how commendable he is. Everyone is like, this isn't our Leona! But with the game resuming, the team goes into phase 2 of Idia's plan. Ordo knows Jack knows he hasn't played Spell Drive before, so Jack will be going after him. Ordo successfully intercepts the disc Jack was supposed to get and leads him into a chase around the Coliseum. He then takes to the air, Jack still following him, and they end up in space. Ordo comments that he's surprised Jack followed him all the way up there. Jack goes into a monologue talking about how he saw Leona on TV playing Spell Drive and knew someday he had to play with him. Ordo cuts him off like, cool. Hey, though, can you look around for a moment? Jack realizes they're in space and starts waking up. Ordo tries to calm him down and explains this isn't real. Jack remembers everything and faints. Ordo catches him, but they start plummeting to Earth. We cut to the ground. Ruggie is like, damn, they got excited. The game can't continue until they get the disc back, so they're waiting for the two freshmen. They see and hear the two falling. Idia freaks out, knowing Ordo's current gear won't be able to have them land safely. He remotely controls Ordo and changes his gear to the Cerberus gear. The two do end up landing safely. The fake Leona and Ruggie are worried over Jack and tell him to take a short break since he's their promising young rookie and an injury before the big game would be bad. Jack gives them the reason you suck speech and laments he's hearing all about the teamwork stuff now and he didn't hear it in reality. The darkness realizes he's woken up and tries to coax him back into sleep, saying if he sleeps, he can experience the greatest Spell Drive game ever. Jack says he'll never fight alongside fakes, and a fight breaks out. The darkness is defeated, but Jack rightfully is suspicious of the squad and fights them too. He comes around though and everything ends up being chill. He's brought up to speed and they get ready to go to the next stream. Ordo generates the dummy data and Jack is impressed. He's like, oh, this is a mirror image. I really need to work on my hamstrings. Never change, Jack. Never change. Azul needs a moment to take some motion sickness medicine before they leave, and Sebek and Jack talk. Sebek tells Jack he'll never forgive Savannah Claw for the Magic tournament stuff. Jack agrees what they did was awful and he doesn't blame Sebek for feeling that way. This shocks Sebek and he's surprised that there are people like Jack and Savannah Claw. They land in Sunrise City by the big fountain that depicts Simba's birth. Jack is okay from the traveling, and Azul is sort of okay too, but he's clearly still not doing fantastic. It's really, really hot in the city. The others realize they need a change, but Jack says he didn't bring any clothes. He gets hazed into the dream form change. He's super embarrassed about doing it and has to be egged into it. And when he doesn't do it loud enough, Sebek is like, you can do better, and makes Jack do it again. They try to guess whose dream they're in and guess Leona or Ruggie. We get a Lotus Sunset Savannah lore. They note there's no hyenas in the statue, and that in the past the hyenas were their own autonomous area called the Shadowlands, because the discrimination that was going on. They didn't have anywhere else to go. Sevek's grandfather once told him that long ago the savannah wasn't unified and there were loads of small communities throughout the land. We also hear about the whole preserving nature versus using the land's resources for capitalism thing that was first introduced in Cloud Calling on the Savannah. As they're discussing the deep lore, Ruggie runs past them moaning that he overslept and his perfect attendance record is in jeopardy. They realize this is his dream and follow him. He cuts through Raintree Market, where people give him lots of food. We learn that Ruggie attends a local school and he lives with his dad and grandma. His dad returned from a job and struck it rich. After Ruggie talks with the locals, everyone ends up at Ivory Cliff Academy, a school that Ordo says doesn't exist in real life. There's loads of fruit trees everywhere. Ruggie chats with his friends, 2 hyena beastmen, and they snack together. Grim, being the glutton he is, goes and eats the fruit. It freaks out the trio, but Azul quickly steps in, saying Grim is his familiar, who's still in the process of being trained. Grim complains about how hungry he is, and after Sebi's stomach growls, Ruggie shares his food with everyone and tells them that they can have fruit from the trees if they want. Ruggie says the school feeds everyone, student or not. He talks about how hyenas have solidarity and look out for everyone, and that the school has that motto as well. Ruggie asks if they've met before, and Azul says no, they're exchange students. Ruggie's like, oh yeah, that tracks, even if you knew me before, you wouldn't recognize me now. He explains that when his dad was gone for work, he was hungry every day and could hardly focus on anything else. But now his dad is back and everything is fine. He goes on to talk about food and says that the school has a donut station where you can customize your own donuts. Azul is worried about calories and Ordo tells him that it's a dream so there's no calories, marking a historic first as the first person to treat Azul's eating disorder seriously. Well, it's not exactly an eating disorder, but calling it like food issues isn't the right vibe, I feel like. Azul has a bad relationship with food because of weight gain and stuff, and because of weight. And Ordo is really the only person that I can think of so far that's, like, been kind about it and not made fun of him for it. Anyway, so some students come up to get donuts and chat with the food worker. We learn Leona founded this school along with a load of other ones. He apparently graduated the previous year and is investing in the future of the Sunset Savannah by making all these schools. Also, Leona is way more popular than Farena in this world. I don't remember if they localized it as Falena or Farena. Frankly, I don't care. Frankly, I don't care. Anyway, Leona's more popular than his older brother. The bell rings and Ruggie hurries off to class. Our squad stays to have donuts, and the darkness in the form of the old lady running the donut stand tries to coax them back to sleep. We have to beat up the old lady. The gang worries about the darkness being able to, like, detect autonomy and stuff, and they're worried it'll alert Malleus. They decide to play along with the dream to avoid getting caught. For now, at least. After school, Ruggie and his friends talk about plans and chill for the Mufasa movie. Talking about how they want to go see a movie that's like a prequel to the live-action Scar movie, and I'm like, you are not slick. That was not slick at all, but okay. Our group, who's been trying to figure out how to wake up Ruggie, think a memory might be enough to wake him up. Azul takes the lead and drops a model coin, or Balmark coin. I'm just gonna say model. Anyways, he drops a model coin on the ground to get Ruggie's attention. He immediately notices it. Azul continues to drop coins going up to 100 model, and Ruggie ditches his friends to find the money. The other students, like, our squad, not the NPC students. I mean, they are confused too, but, like, we're focusing on our people right now. They are utterly baffled, and Azul explains what he's doing. We get a flashback of Ruggie working at the Mostro Lounge, complete with Mostro Lounge Ruggie. Like, he's wearing the outfit. Some workers dropped some change while doing register stuff, and Ruggie was able to tell 1, how much model was dropped from just hearing it, and 2, he finds it. Azul decided to take advantage of this to wake Ruggie up. Ruggie finds the coins and starts to wake up. The gang approaches him, and Azul throws a 500 model coin into the fountain at the center of campus. Ruggie immediately dives in for it. Azul decides to be a piece of shit and makes fun of Ruggie for it, to the point that Ordo and you both tell him to knock it off and that the ridiculing is not okay. Azul is all like, oh, you say you don't want it, but your body betrayed. You know what, me saying that, and I'm like, oh, that sounds way, way worse out of context. Oh god. Anyway, Azul's just being really terrible about it, because Ruggie's like, oh, this isn't a lot of money, why am I thinking it's a lot of money? And then Azul's throwing this money into the fountain, and he's just like, oh, well, you said you didn't want it, but you're still going after it, and your body's, like, betraying you, and showing that you really do want. Oh my god. This sounds so terrible out of context. Oh my god. Anyway, he's being a jackass about it. Questionable phrasing aside, he's being a jackass about this. And Orta's like, I know you're trying to wake him up, but like, do we have to be this rude about it and this like, ugh? Not just because of the phrasing, but just because it's like, Azul very clearly making fun of Ruggie for being poor. I don't think we should make fun of poor people. I think perhaps that is a bad thing. I don't think Azul would listen to me about that though. So Azul takes advantage of all this to wake Ruggie up. Ruggie fully wakes up and his fake friends come back. They're like, what are you doing? And Ruggie ends up fighting them. We all fight them. And the darkness is defeated. Ruggie's filled on what's going on and he starts sobbing, calling Malleus heartless for creating a dream like this. He says they need to go get Leona for their final fight, and the team sets off for Leona's dream. And that's where the update ends. This was an emotionally hard update, not gonna lie. Seeing Ruggie's dream was just gut-wrenching, honestly. And I'm sure Leona's is gonna be way worse, but I guess at least we have a week to prepare ourselves for the extreme pain. I hope to see you guys there, and we can all cry together. Thank you everyone for watching, and a very special thank you to my channel members and Twitch subs. Your support helps me to continue to make these videos. If you'd like early access to my videos, consider becoming a channel member. Patrons and Ko-fi members can get my scripts early before I record them. I livestream over on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Thanks again guys, and I'll see y'all later.